The second topic of the day, moving forward a little bit farther into the future, 2016. Specifically, how will the Xbox One stack up against the PS4 in 2016?
Well, I think you saw a little bit of our 2016 lineup and what we showed at Gamescom, but most people, even internally, as we've been meeting and kind of planning for next year, people are like, okay, this year we have Halo 5, we've got Forza, we've got, like this must be like our peak year. And then like next year must be down relative. But actually we expect to sell more games next year, and we actually have more game titles releasing next year than we do this year. And if you start to look at that list of things that are coming, so we have Quantum Break-In, coming in April. We've got a Killer Instinct Season 3. We've got, as you go throughout the year, we've got things like Recore, Scalebound, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, Halo Wars 2, Gears of War 4, and probably some things we haven't announced. So
where's Cuphead in this?
That's an extraordinary lineup.
Yeah,
I need my Cuphead. When am I getting it?
Cuphead's
Where's
coming.
it at?
Next year, coming. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, the team, we're actually investing more in that title to make sure it is great as it should be, and have a great partnership with the guys that are building that title. So you'll get your Cuphead,
great,
along with your Gears of War 4, games of all sizes. So,
yeah, that's incredible, because what I'm wondering, I didn't even consider half of those games when I'm doing my mental countdown, because you get into the Quantum Breaks, you're getting the Scalebounds, of course. Yeah. But yeah, Killer Instinct, that's coming. Sea of Thieves, that's coming. Yeah. So what are you going to call next year the best games lineup in Xbox history again?
Well, you gotta just keep doing that, why not?
Or you like the Roman numerals too? So the one thing Aaron, you've been in this industry a long time. You've been at Microsoft a long time. You're a smart dude. You understand this industry. I was reading MPD earlier this week, and the numbers continue to stagger me for both consoles.
Yeah.
Now, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are outselling their predecessors, same month over month on the market for 24 months by 40%.
Yeah.
What does this mean to you? I mean, what are you taking away from this? Because this is such heartening news to me as a core console gamer. I don't want to play games on my mobile phone. I'm not much of a PC gamer, although I lose myself to Civilization 5 and stuff like that. But mostly I'm a console guy. I'm a core console guy. Yeah. What do you see? What does this mean to you? Because obviously your competitor is doing very well, but you guys are also outpacing Xbox 360, and I feel like that is sometimes lost.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, people don't realize that, and not just from NPD in the US, but even globally. If you look at Xbox One sales month by month, how we stacked against where Xbox 360 was, and I think Xbox 360 was widely regarded as a huge success, and was I think a great platform for us. But we are month by month selling more Xbox Ones than we did Xbox 360, and we're actually widening that gap. So as we rate ourselves against ourselves, we're doing very well. We're also selling more games than we sold last gen. So we're seeing the console market being extremely healthy, and any of the early naysayers that went into this generation of, because it is cyclical. I mean, the console market tends to go down as you get into the later years, but then core gamers come back and they buy new consoles and they buy new games. And then there's, your other sort of segments that come in after that. And so we're seeing really, really healthy. And if you look at the games lineup this year, you look at the games lineup next year, we think Halo will clearly sell a lot of consoles. Gears will sell a lot of consoles next year. So for us, it's been really healthy, and Sony's the same. Absolutely. So, we're seeing the industry all up, doing really well. Our third-party partners are doing really well. Activision, EA, those folks are, having great years. And so I think that, it's good. As a console gamer myself, I'm with you, and it's great to see a lot of innovation, a lot of great games, and the industry thriving.
Do you guys, how much do you, keep on the blinders when you're at, when you're at Microsoft or when you're at any other company, in terms of, we can't really worry about what the other guys are doing. We can't really worry about, we got to kind of focus on that. How important is it to watch the competition and what they're doing? Because it seems like 2016 is going to be the year when Sony springs to life a little bit in terms of their exclusives, because they were very quiet. Yeah. This past year we had Shuhei Yoshida on one of our other podcasts, PS I Love You. And we were talking about, I just came to the revelation that they actually didn't release a first party game all year this year. All their published games are actually were from second parties. So it seems like they're going to spring to life soon. So is that important to you guys at all? Or are you just being like, we have to just stay on our road in our lane and figure things out? We largely stay on our lane. We obviously watch and monitor and see what they do. So I think we were surprised that they didn't have more games this holiday. We knew this is the third holiday. This tends to be a really big selling season. And so our focus has been on, focusing on our fans, delivering the games that they want. And we're doing that this year, and we're doing it again next year. So I think we'll be very competitive. I mean, right now, I think most people would say
or the console with the best games. And so that's really what we want to hang our hat on, having the best online service, the best community for our fans. And so we're going to continue to invest there as a first-party team, as well as working with top third-party partners as well.
And I'm curious, since it's I don't know if it's unusual, but it's interesting that you control you kind of the marketing for first and third party. So you're kind of controlling both things. How do you balance that when you're looking at the games lineup? Well, even though we're not talking about the 2015 games anymore, you do have, your games like Tomb Raider and Halo, but you also have Battlefront or whatever, Call of Duty. How do you kind of balance marketing in terms of like, what is the priority to sell more first party games, or is the priority to sell more consoles and more games? And it doesn't matter if Battlefront outsells Halo as long as you're selling the games.
Yeah. So just organizationally, our first party and third party teams actually sit on opposite sides of the building. All of our third party folks sit in closed offices, because if they're working with Ubisoft or EA or, whoever it may be, they have confidence. So we keep all that stuff confidential. So, the person that's working, on trying to think of like a key competitive title. But if someone's working on a competitive shooter, whether they're working with EA or they're working with Activision, won't be talking to the Gears or Halo team, for example. So we're really serious about that. We just look at the business all up. So we're definitely trying to sell consoles. We're trying to get as many gamers to play our titles. And so that's really the big focus. And we know that we'll deliver, some percentage, maybe 20% of the game sales, but 80% of them will come from our third-party partners. So they play a very, very critical role. And some of those are just multi-platform games that wherever some of them are things where we do strategic investments with them, or we're a marketing partner with them, or in some cases we, help invest and make the game happen. So just a variety of different ways that we interact with them.
And, now shooting back to 2016, let's talk about some of these games. I mean, what are the games that you're excited about? I mean, tell us about, Quantum Break looks really, really good. Scalebound obviously coming together. Platinum's kind of doing their thing over there. We're waiting to see more about that. Yep. So like, what's 2016 kind of mean to you? And kind of we ran through the names of the games. So tell us a little bit about what games you're excited about.
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, I'm really excited about Quantum. I am much more of a story kind of campaign-based guy. I do play multiplayer. I'm not the world's most competitive multiplayer gamer. So I prefer co-op and things like that. So for me, Quantum is a story. We know Sam Lake and the team there, just like they did with Alan Wake, they did with Max Payne, and, games I've always loved playing, really rich, deep stories that draw you in, character-based stories. And so they're doing that again with Quantum Break. Now, what's interesting is they're also integrating the live action elements. And so to have the, top tier talent like Sean Ashmore and other folks that are working with us on that also play characters in the game is something that's really never been done before in games. And so I haven't played through the game, but there are folks on my team that have played through the entire game. And I've read through their notes, and I've seen, we have a lot of reviews on the title and stuff, and the team feels really positive about how the title's shaping up. We think it will review well and do well, and I think it will, draw a lot of interest, and I think it'll help sell Xbox consoles, which is great. Titles I'm also super excited about. I'd say Sea of Thieves is pretty high up there. I was out at Rare last week, and we played the prototype. There's a prototype that was playable that we've been playing, and some of the core mechanics and the things that you do in that title are so much fun, and it is just a true Rare game where I think like core gamers will love it, but also, it's this open shared world experience, and the setting of like pirates and ships and all these fun things you get to do together, and different people's personalities come out and what they do. And I found I'm actually a really evil pirate, very violent when I get on a ship.
Good.
So
it's always fun.
As one should be.
Exactly. Yes. Some people are much more cooperative, and I was just thinking, because our head of European studios and I were on a ship together, and he was like, raising things and getting stuff organized, and asked me to go do stuff. And I was literally like hitting him with like a piece of chicken, and he's like, "What are you hitting me for? We got to go. Yeah. I'm like, okay, oh, you're right. That's right. We should actually be and I was just like, cool, this thing, I can hit him with it. It was like, sort of just felt like a child. So, so that game, I think, we're seeing how visually that game is looking, and we'll show more of that title this year. I think people will be really excited to see that. I think you saw a little bit of what's happening with Crackdown and the innovation that Dave Jones and the team's doing there, using the power of the cloud and the real-time destructible environments, which just kind of blows my mind. And I think that is reinventing the way games are made using technology that we didn't have last gen. You think about like what is a true next gen game? Like I think we're starting to see those games come out now. And I think this year, and I think even more into next year, going to see titles that just literally could not be made without the technology that we have today. Even Halo 5 is using the cloud and Azure. We talked about the co-op and design there. So those are all great. We spent a whole day up at Coalition looking at Gears 4 title. Same. It's world-class team under Rod Ferguson there. So another title that I think will surprise people. And so it's just no shortage of great games if you're a gamer, no matter what you're looking for.
What are some of the smaller titles that people should keep their eye on? Because obviously people are excited about the Gears and Rare's making Sea of Thieves. So it's like those are the kind of bigger marquee titles. But what are some of the smaller ones?
We've shown some of them. Cuphead's a great example of one of the titles that we showed that we're really excited to get behind. The ID program is amazing because we're launching multiple games a week. And so I try to go in and play as many of them as I can. It is hard to keep up, but off the top of my head, I don't know some of the big ones for next year, but I can just tell you from like this year, whether it was like Goat Simulator or playing The Escapist or some of these indie titles, it just really surprised me how fun they were. I think the lineup of games will be even bigger next year. And so, so I think, we'll share more of those details, but a Cuphead would be the marquee game that I would say, if you're gonna pick one indie game to play next year, it's unlike anything else you've ever seen.
When do you think we're going to hear more about Cuphead? Because I want to know when I'm getting this game.
Tim's been obsessed with Cuphead since E3.
Yeah.
It looks so good. And the thing about it is
It's very
everything
cool.
that's been released about it just gets me more excited.
Yeah. It's a fun game. It's a hard game. Very challenging. And so our team internally, and the two brothers that are building the game, we've been working really closely together and making sure that they are, they have enough time and enough resources to do everything they want to do with that title. And so I'm excited. We've really gotten behind that title. That's a big bet for us, and we don't want to rush it. We want to make sure it's ready and it's great. It's the first game they've ever made, which is also kind of mind blowing.
Yeah.
And so, I think the game will be fun. My feedback to them was like, maybe not so hard, we all loved Ori and how hard that was to play, and it was kind of rewarding, and how many times we died in Ori, but I think to make, we want as many people to enjoy your title. And, so I think being able to have some modes where people that don't want to just die 12 times to get through a level, some of us feel the challenge of that, but I think you want to make it more approachable too.
I guess I have a question. I'm not sure if you can answer, but I'm not because you wouldn't necessarily make these decisions, but you might have some insight into it.
Sure.
Because you guys are working with your second party partners as well. Remedy's a great example with Quantum.
Yep.
How do you, as a studio or as really a team, because you're not a studio, but as a publisher, do you identify these partners and be like, we can work with these guys confidently, or is there any interest in acquiring these studios to join the family? Like, how do you kind of parse that out and figure those things out?
Yeah, so most of our big IP is done internally by internal teams, like Coalition with Gears, or 343 with Halo, or Turn 10 with Forza. And then all those titles, we call them published titles. So we have a publishing team. Actually, I have a publishing marketing team that works with that group. And largely what it is they're some of the best development talent in the industry, but they want to stay independent. They actually don't want to be owned by us, most of them. And so for us to be able to say, hey, we want to go hire these guys to go make a first party game, whether it's Platinum making Scalebound, or Remedy making Quantum Break, for us to be able to take that type of talent, have them go make something really innovative, Insomniac, what they did with Sunset Overdrive, it tends to be a little more like new IP and things like that, which is also pretty exciting. And it rounds out our portfolio. So that's kind of the strategy, is to work with those independent developers. Over time, you've seen other folks that have done that, where they were independent and they ended, DICE was independent at one point and they made some games for us, and then they made games for, and the EA acquired them. So they do get acquired sometimes, but largely most of these studios stay independent.
Fair enough. I'm excited. 2016, it sounds like it's going to it sounds like it's going to be good just for console gamers generally.
Yeah.
It seems like everything's firing on all cylinders. The third year, it's going to be good. I'm excited about it. Quantum Break though is the one I think that I've identified next year is the one that I'm super excited about. And it's going to take second place to Gears, which is the game I'm most excited about on Xbox One next year. But yeah, everything's sounding pretty good.
Yeah, the Gears community is amazing. When we look at like our engagement with fans, like the Gears fans like are so passionate and so engaged. at levels we don't have with any of our other franchises. And so it's been kind of fun to see like that Gears Nation kind of reawaken, and the response to the Ultimate Edition. And then, I think as we start to reveal more about Gears 4, it's going to be a fun campaign.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm still excited for Cuphead, so that's great. That topic brought to you by DraftKings. Your season-long fantasy football team may be going strong, but you don't have to wait until week 16 to get paid. Put your fantasy skills to the test every week this season at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. With one-week fantasy, there are no season-long commitments. If you got an injured player, it's no problem. It's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. And get this, DraftKings is crowning a new millionaire every week this season. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Hurry to DraftKings.com now and use promo code KINDOFFUNNY to play for free with your first deposit in this Sunday's $1 million fantasy football contest, where first place takes home $100,000. Enter Kinda Funny for free now, only at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
It would be nice to be able to not play with injuries in my fantasy league, since my team is just atrocious right now.
Well, you should go over to DraftKings.com.
Yeah, I'm in a
Promo code
whole
Kinda Funny.
network of, I've got 3 fantasy teams, and we have a donut pool at work, and I'm in all, no matter what, like the scenarios are all bad. I'm rooting against myself.
I'm in one very serious pay league with my uncle and his friends. I've been playing with them for a long time, and it's just, they're just really good, and they, I draft well, but then my waiver moves are really questionable, and
it's a whole thing.
It's bad.
It sounds like a thing.
It's not good.
So